Stop scrolling for just 60 seconds. I'm about to tell you something that is going to make you angry, then it's going to make you cry, and finally, if you let it, it's going to set you free. Look at me. I'm serious. What if I told you that the one person you curse every night before bed, the one whose name still makes your stomach turn, the one who made you feel like you were losing your mind, what if I told you that person gave you a gift so valuable that you couldn't have gotten it any other way? I know. You want to click away. You want to protect that anger because the anger feels like the only thing keeping you safe right now. But stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to realize that your greatest enemy accidentally became your greatest teacher. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, once wrote something that will change your life if you actually hear it. He said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Read that again. No coming to consciousness without pain. That means your awakening required a wound. Your strength required a breaking. Your vision required someone to first blind you with their smoke and mirrors. And that is exactly what the narcissist did. They walked in like sunlight. They mirrored your soul back to you. They finished your sentences. They loved you exactly how you always wanted to be loved. It felt like fate. It felt like home. But here is the part nobody prepares you for. That was never love. That was a recruitment drive. They were studying you, mapping your weaknesses, finding the cracks in your armor. And once they found them, they didn't just exploit them, they lived in them. The gaslighting that made you question your own memory, the silent treatments that felt like death, the cycle of idealizing and devaluing that left your nervous system shattered. You begged, you pleaded, you shrank yourself into a version small enough to fit inside their limited capacity to love. And when it was over, when you were sitting in the rubble of what you thought was your future, you didn't just survive, you evolved. Here is what they accidentally gave you. These are the 6 gifts the narcissist handed you with their own toxic hands, and they are too blind to even see it. Gift 1. The gift of seeing your own wounds. Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. Carl Jung taught us about something called the shadow. It's the parts of yourself you hide. The insecurity you pretend isn't there. The childhood wound you've decorated over with achievements and smiles. Here is what the narcissist did that nobody else could do. They found your shadow in the dark and dragged it into the light. They knew exactly where to push because they watched you. They saw that you needed approval, so they starved you of it. They saw you feared abandonment, so they threatened it constantly. They saw you desperately wanted to be enough, so they made you feel like nothing. And in doing so, they forced you to finally look at yourself. You started asking questions you had avoided your whole life. Why do I need their validation so badly? Why do I stay when I know I should leave? Why do I keep choosing people who choose last? That interrogation of your own soul? That is the beginning of becoming conscious. The narcissist didn't create your wounds. They just held up a mirror and made you look. And once you see yourself clearly, you can never be blind again. Gift 2. The gift of knowing where you end. Before them, did you even know what a boundary was? Be honest. You said yes when your soul was screaming no. You explained yourself like your existence required a justification. You apologized for taking up space. You let people borrow your energy and never paid you back. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how can you become who you are when you don't even know where your skin ends and the world begins? The narcissist taught you. They taught you by crossing every line you didn't know you had. They took your kindness as a blank check. They took your forgiveness as an invitation to hurt you again. And eventually, something sacred happened. You snapped, not in a dramatic way, in a deep way. You started saying no without the novel attached. You started hanging up the phone. You started walking away mid-sentence when disrespect showed up. You learned that boundaries aren't walls you build to keep people out. They are the gateways that let the right people in. And here is the truth nobody tells you. The people who scream the loudest about your boundaries are the ones who were stealing from your soul while you slept. Gift 3. The gift of becoming unbreakable. I want you to think about those dark nights, the ones where you couldn't sleep because your mind was replaying every fight, every lie, every moment you wished you could redo. The gaslighting made you question if you were crazy. The manipulation made you feel like you were walking through fog. The discard left you gasping for air. But look at you now. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." You went through psychological warfare, and you came out the other side with X-ray vision. You can now feel manipulation before the person even opens their mouth. You can sense inconsistency from across the room. You have an emotional radar so sharp that most people can't even hide a bad mood from you. That isn't damage. That is intelligence. The narcissist put you through the fire, and instead of ash, you came out metal. Gift 4. The gift of finally being real. Here is what happens in a toxic relationship. You become an actor. You check their mood before you speak. You monitor your tone. You hide your victories because they trigger their envy. You hide your struggles because they weaponize them. You become a version of yourself designed purely for their consumption. And slowly, the real you starves to death. But when they left, or when you finally found the strength to leave, something happened. You stopped performing. Carl Jung talked about the process of individuation. It's the journey back to your authentic self, and it almost always requires a death first. The narcissist killed the version of you that was willing to shrink. They killed the people pleaser. They killed the one who needed permission to exist. And from that grave, you rose. You started remembering what you liked, what you thought, what you found funny, what you believed before someone told you it was wrong. You didn't rebuild yourself. You uncovered yourself. And the real you, the one buried under years of performance, that person is unstoppable. Gift 5. The gift of seeing through the game. Before this, you believed people. You took words as contracts. You trusted smiles. You thought everyone operated with the same heart you did. Then the narcissist showed you the underbelly. Carl Jung said, "Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge." But you don't just judge anymore, you observe. You watch how people treat waiters. You notice how they speak about their exes. You pay attention to consistency, not charm. You know that love bombing is just a preview of future control. You know that future faking is just a fantasy they sell while they steal your present. The narcissist gave you something no course could teach: pattern recognition. You now see the red flags waving in the wind before the parade even starts. You protect your peace like a dragon protects gold, and you choose people slowly, carefully, sacredly. That discernment? It will save you decades of pain for the rest of your life. Gift 6. The gift of waking up. This is the big one, the one that makes it all make sense. Carl Jung wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." The narcissist didn't just break your heart, they broke your entire reality. They shattered what you thought love was. They destroyed your trust in your own judgment. They made you question everything you believed about people, about relationships, about yourself. And when the ground disappeared beneath your feet, you had nowhere to go but inward. You started reading. You started Googling. You found videos like this one. You found psychology. You found philosophy. You found spirituality. You found Carl Jung. You started journaling. You started meditating. You started doing the work that most people will die without ever starting. The narcissist pushed you onto a path that leads to your own soul. They meant to destroy you. Instead, they woke you up. The final truth. So here is where we land. The narcissist was never your punishment. They were your assignment. Every tear you cried watered the ground where your new life would grow. Every lie they told pushed you closer to your own truth. Every time they tried to make you feel small, the universe was expanding something inside you. Carl Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And you are learning to do exactly that. Not despite the pain, because of it. You now know that your peace is precious. Your energy is currency. Your intuition is a superpower. And your authenticity is non-negotiable. So no, don't thank the narcissist. They don't deserve your gratitude. But thank yourself. Thank yourself for surviving when leaving felt impossible. Thank yourself for choosing growth over bitterness. Thank yourself for taking their poison and distilling it into medicine. Because that transformation, that wasn't their gift to you. That was yours to you. If this hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear that their pain has a purpose. And remember, the people who try to break you are often the ones who force you to realize you were never built to be broken. She turned her wounds into wisdom. He turned his pain into power. You will turn this into your origin story.